Austria, the wooded hillsides of the Styrian Alps, and winding its way through Zeltweg, the Grand Prix track with the treacherous weather near Salzburg, near the home of motor racing's reigning world champion. But it's here at the hub of the 3.5-mile circuit that tomorrow's world champions will spend a week getting ready for the most critical race of their career. Today's world champion, battle-scarred veteran of 100 Grand Prix races, Niki Lauda, greets the new recruit to the Formula 3 team, his cousin Thomas Lauda. UNIPART's first non-British driver, joining regular 26-year-old Tiff Needell from Weybridge and 31-year-old Ian Taylor from Newbury in Berkshire. The team manager, David Price, has got 1 week to get ready for the big race, the weekend of the Austrian Grand Prix that will see the talent spotters of the world of Formula 1 here to watch the rising stars of Formula 3. Early week, the circuit is comparatively quiet, offering several opportunities for unofficial practicing. Just about the only non-Japanese engine cars on the track, team leader Needell gets up speed for a week's hard driving, getting to know the shape of the Zeltweg track, matching the car to it with an experienced team.
You could go second.
There's a premium on practice laps, and the times show what works and what doesn't. Every adjustment checked against the seconds it saves.
Well, I did mess that one up, but it's not a second.
Well, look, I'll tell you what I want to do on the next one. We'll just swap these tyres over. We'll pop these skirts off, yeah.
Because I got, skirts off.
With thousands of hours of testing behind him, how important does Niki Lauda rate Formula 3 as a stepping stone for a future champion?
It is very important because you have to get used to the speeds of the car slowly. There's no point just to get out of a saloon car straight into a Formula 1. It's much better to get into a proper Formula 3 team, get used to traffic, get used to racing, and then maybe go into Formula 2 for 1 year and then go into Formula 1.
So a long drive ahead and the testing goes on. Thomas Lauda's advantage here is that he knows the track, something he passes on to team manager David Price, schooling him in his first drive in Formula 3.
The only understeer we get at all is entering Bosch, you know, the one.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, there's an understeer to go off the throttle for a moment and get on again. It just passed beautifully on the slide. So...
All right, well, try it. You go out and do 6 laps or so. You come in, we'll pressure the tyres and we'll drop the front flaps down, and you can try that.
Yes, and we'll try the rear.
We better go back to that and pull the wing up. Drop them front flaps down 1/4 of an inch then. We started on 1/2 inch on the front.
And on it goes, the fight to save seconds. Now it's down to details. Spring settings, roll bar stiffness. More consultation. This time it's aerodynamics. Flaps change the downforce on the front wheels, and young Lauda wants more. Understeer, that's running wide on corners, is scrubbing off speed.
It's getting heavier. Yeah, we put a new rack on it before it come out, but I don't know, it should be all right. Just have a look over it now, would it? Well, he settled down to the job fairly quickly, and he's gone fairly well. Yeah, he's probably done better than we thought.
The thing about him, he's a very serious-minded young man. I think he treats the thing in that vein.
He'll
got a very sensible approach.
Yeah, he'll admit his shortcomings, which is good, and he'll tell us if he's done anything wrong, which is good as well.
Will he qualify?
Oh yeah, I think the times he's doing at the moment he'll qualify. Well, yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, he's well in there. Yeah.
Swiss are real tuggers.
Yeah.
So the team's happy with Thomas Lauder, but the Lauder family is not. Just as with Nicky, they don't approve of Thomas's racing. So what sort of problem is posed by this lack of family support?
Yes, no problem. It's good for the character of young people if they are left on their own and they have to find their own way through life.
By Thursday evening, it's clear the UNIPART cars can make it. They'll last the distance, and the week's work is paying off. But now there are no more snatches of unofficial practice when the track's free. With only 2 50-minute official practice sessions left before Saturday's race, the fight is on for top places on the starting grid. Half an hour's work changes the ratios in each car's Hewland racing gearbox, made to dismantle quickly and made to crash from gear to gear as fast as the driver moves his hand. Each ratio chosen higher or lower to get the engine at peak revs on the critical corners. Too many revs on the bend before the pits. Third gear is made higher. All part of matching the car to the job in hand, winning.
We're going to go out and try this now as it is, right?
Yeah, I'll thrash around as much as I can as it is. If I find that you know, I'm just not getting any quicker, and I think that the ratios are a bit high, we'll stick the 50s on to see if that brings it down a bit, because the diameter of the tyre is a little bit smaller, and I'm going to the corners a bit quicker. Yeah. And then, you know, maybe I'll try the wing to see what that does, and I think it's either a question of if I'm not getting the stability in particularly the 2 left-hand corners, it's either a question of a little bit more wing and try that, or it's fractionally stiffer on there and try that.
Okay. Are you nearly ready, John? Has everything else done on it? Yeah.
The last jobs. 50 minutes of official practice. Eve of race day. It's dry, but the forecast isn't good. Drenching showers can happen with startling speed amongst the high hills, and this may be the last chance of a good place on tomorrow's grid. Clearly, some drivers are more up to it than others, but for UNIPART, the results are good. They're looking for their best result of the season, a win here in the biggest Formula 3 race of the year after Monte Carlo and Brands Hatch. And here, the Dolomite engine, with its top-end power, is a match for the Japanese. A match on the fastest track of the season. Out in the sunshine of an Austrian summer, it's times that count.
5.8.
Now, a new worry, tyres. Goodyear at Wolverhampton on holiday, race tyre manufacture only just restarted. The team's economising, not just because the tyres cost £300 a set, but because there aren't enough to go round. There are no replacements. A fuel leak and an accidental discharge of a fire extinguisher threatened to hold things up. But the UNIPART team was first on the track, and now it's among the fastest. Lap times average 114 miles an hour. And Needell's fast. His target is now Guido Pardini, the Italian with his Nova Motor Rolt, and he must break 1 minute 55 seconds. Taylor out. Thomas Lauder going well in the older car. Needell delayed when he blisters one of the precious Goodyears. The rear wing. Too much angle helps on the corners, but slows things up on the straight. Pardini's in the low 154s now, and Needell has to make his bid with the sun lowering in the sky and a hard climb ahead.
Quicker than a 54.7. The biggest worry, but it's something we can't really do anything about because they're just not available. Hopefully they're supposed to be arriving in Vienna tonight, so we'll have a truck out of the airport perhaps 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and try and get them fitted before practice. But if they don't come... we had as well. Just get a gauge, get me the tyre temperature gauge quick. There, under your nose. Yeah, we might need a 54 on this. Did anyone get anything quicker then in the end?
No, nobody has actually got anybody quicker than Tiff.
We think at the moment Tiff's on pole position, but we're not sure yet.
I had to stay out there because the traffic was bad. And you really do have to just sit out there until you get a clear lap. And, you know, I got a good tow from Ray Hall at the beginning of the session, and I realised I was quicker than him, so that gave me confidence, because I knew he went very quickly testing yesterday. And then I just stuck out there and stuck on it. We had one tyre blister, and by putting on the new tyre, that took another 0.3 off.
But we're running pretty well. Ian's not quite there yet, but nearly.
Well, the first couple of laps everything was very good. It was really all right.
Thomas spun off, and since he went off, he lost his concentration a bit.
Oh, it was beautiful. The engine was very good, and I felt okay. But then I'm used to 15 minutes of practice, and that one was 15 minutes, 5-0. So I just lost a bit of concentration. But
his time started coming back up towards the end. So, yeah, he's doing quite well.
And tomorrow it'll be raining all morning. And a nice dry race in the afternoon.
And next morning, it is raining. Zeltweg has lived up to its reputation. Early Saturday practice is inconclusive. The road starts to dry as the UNIPART team tries wet weather tyres, sod's law at work. But few drivers improve their times because the track is still damp. Team manager Price decides to use M&H Racemasters in the afternoon. A gamble, but his team is in need. Final preparation. A checklist of items prepares a racing car like making an aircraft ready for a flight. A tense time for drivers. The adrenaline starts to flow and they worry about the week that's gone, about the gear ratios they've chosen, about the spring settings, the damper choice, the roll bar, the wings. They consult and compare notes, seek advice, if possible, eavesdrop. World champion on his way out. Team manager Price still worrying about tyres. Spectators know that whatever weather will arrive, it'll come from above. While for the drivers, the transporter bus serves as a changing room. The all-important airbox. Formula 3 engines are 2 litres with a maximum of 4 cylinders, derived from production cars produced 5,000 in a year. And the air intake, the airbox, has a throttling flange. Superchargers are banned, but the restriction means the cars are evenly matched. Tuning must be subtle rather than too racy. The tyre problem solved. UNIPART now think the M&H an advantage. The weather stays fine, and Needell's thoughts perhaps on writing himself a Formula 2 contract next year. But what do drivers think about? How do they feel in the hours leading up to one of the most vital races of their career?
Quietly terrified. It's more, you're not really worried about sort of, hurting yourself or anything like that. It's purely worried about producing a performance which the car I now know is capable of. So all I'm thinking about really is the rolling start, which I've only done twice before, and just getting through the flipping chicane, which is single file. Whereas almost every circuit in England, we can go 2 abreast, you can get away with it. But literally, we've got to all funnel in. We're going to be doing about 120 miles an hour up there, from the rolling start. Jeez.
Tiff's a very good driver. And the whole UNIPART team is very well organized. And he's got a very good car, very good engine. The Dolomite is very fast on this fast circuit. So it should be okay, really.
For me, I feel the race could be won and lost on how quickly one can go through the Texaco corners, because I think there is one section of the track where certainly the driving skill can make up for any deficiency one might have. Once one gets onto these straights, there's very little one can do other than just sit there and see how quickly your engine goes.
One by one, these young drivers warm up engines and tyres. Tens of thousands watch, not only Austrians, but from Germany, and across the Alps, Italy, here to watch tomorrow the racing for the Grand Prix. And Formula 3's form up, a rolling start, a safe start so that nobody stalls at the front. A pace car marshalling them at the head, an outrider holding them in check till the green light. Needell from the front row of the grid, surrounded by Italians. Alongside Pardini in the Rolt. Behind Gianluca Bagnora, also in a Rolt. Beside him, Oscar Pedasoli in a March. And the front row practice times faster than the European Formula 3 Championship round held here in April. Ian Taylor is 14th fastest, and Thomas Lauder in the older UNIPART car 23rd, just 2.5 seconds behind.
I mean, I thought I made a good start on the rolling start. I got into 3rd gear, in fact, so it was quite a quick rolling start. And I was just on, checked, I was on 5,000, so it was right in the rev band. And then, you know, we both went together and he just sheer out accelerated me. So I then tucked in behind him, right in his gearbox, because I thought I might as well get to the inside. And the next thing I know, this Pedersoli came by me about 20 miles an hour quicker. So that was all right. We all got through the hella lift, which I was dreading. And then I just tucked in and caught up Pedersoli in that first lap and towed him down the back straight. We were very equal on engines, about sort of what you'd expect if your engines are on par. And when I came out of the slipstream just towards the end of the straight, I was able to come back sort of half a length up the inside of him. I'd sort of dummied to the left, so he went to the left, and I'd shot back across and out-braked him into the Bosch curve. So I thought, well, fair enough, that's fine. I'll soon haul in this other mad Italian.
Ian smoothed that one, so Tiff.
You know, I managed to haul him in, but then he was just so much quicker down the straight. But I mean, you say so much. I mean, it's only got to be, you know, 1 or 2 horsepower probably you're talking about, the difference.
Come on, Stiff, give it a Ferries.
You know, I was really just hanging on to him, but then he was beginning to get more and more rattled, which is, you know, one way of overtaking. Either you overtake, or else you sit there till he gets rattled and makes a mistake. I mean, down the start-finish line, I just sat in his gearbox all the way up to the chicane. And then he was just beginning to get more and more ragged. He was beginning to get so slow through the corners, I was having to hold back going into them, so I could come through the corner and come onto the straight quick. But even when I did that, you know, I could get up his gearbox.
Needell's race, something to shout about, but the anxious faces in the pits have seen it all before. Nothing is certain in motor racing, with the nerves taut, the engine literally rending itself apart, and the heat of the chase on for a race that's close even by the wheel-to-wheel standards of Formula 3. Needell looking for a way past or slipstreaming, tucking in behind in the draft of the car in front, getting every ounce of advantage. With half the race gone, does team manager Price think Needell will now make his move for the lead?
Well, it could be. Now the tyres are getting warmer as well, so... If it gets past Mardini, I reckon he'll pull away, but it's not so easy to get past, is it? The trouble is, if he stays too close, he'll upset the balance of the car, so that's probably why he's dropped back a bit.
really do a complete car's length out brake. You know, you need to have a little bit of extra momentum. I was fairly happy. Well, I was feeling it a bit, I mean, as you saw, I dropped back with about 5 laps to go. I was beginning to have a go at him. I had a real old go at him in the second Texaco curve, second left-hander. And he just managed to chop me, and having chopped me, then hit the brakes, which is an old trick which a lot of us use, which nearly sent me off, but I managed to collect it together. But I lost a lot of time. And then I was just really hauling him in, and I reckon I would have been on his gearbox with 2 laps to go again, and I would have either got past him or punted him. I was well, you say punt, I mean, you shouldn't really say punt, but I would have put myself in a position whereby he had to hit me if he wasn't going to let me past. Put it that way.
Needell within striking distance of the rattle Pardini with 3 laps to go. But Pardini pulls away. A desperately disappointed Needell slows and signals trouble to his pit as he coasts down the straight.
So, you know, when the action went, I just about caught him up again, which was with 3 laps left.
Pardini alone for the first time today. The little Italian breathing a sigh of relief as Needell's battery loses power at the critical moment. The unlooked-for, unexpected failure. Frustration in what should have been the moment of triumph.
You're right.
Racing car batteries don't get charged by a dynamo. They never need it. Races are short. They supply only basic power, and they hardly ever give trouble.
I don't know, shit, utter disbelief. I felt like crying. You just have the battery life which will last the race. It's got to run a fuel pump and an ignition. But, you know, this morning you got a battery that runs an hour as strong as anything, and then you've got a battery that dies in 30 minutes. Sort of part of the car that you never even think twice about.
To become a winner in motor racing takes time, dedication and patience. But Austria was just one race in a program of development. And the experience gained in Austria by the UNIPART International Formula 3 team suggests that the rewards for perseverance are soon to be achieved.